and welcome in to another episode of A for Effort, coming to you with another quality movie review. I'm your host, Matt, and as always, today's episode is brought to you by Movie Pass. $9.95 a month gets you one movie a day at local theaters in your area. Check MoviePass.com for listings. Today's movie is The 1517 to Paris. This movie is directed by Clint Eastwood, and it stars the real-life heroes in which this event took place. I have to admit, if it wasn't for Movie Pass, I might not have seen this movie, but I want to see as many movies as I can, and I want to review as many movies as I can, and diversify the type of movie that I see. So I was intrigued, to say the least, about what this movie could be. I saw the original trailer 3 or 4 times, and I immediately was like, okay, what is this movie, right? It's a true story, but it's just going to be one of those, right? Then I saw it's going to star the real-life heroes, and I thought, interesting, that kind of changes things for me. So, I will start off by saying, you don't get a lot of great acting in the movie because they're not real actors, but they do good for what they're given material-wise and recreating their events leading up. I will say that one of the things I really did enjoy was the intercut of the way the story was handled, because it's a piece of the event, then they flash back to childhood, and then a piece of the event, and then they flash back to informative years, middle school, high school. Then they go back to a piece of the event, then they move on to basic training, where 2 of the 3 kids are in basic training. Then they flash back one more time to the event, and then they come full circle to them going to Europe on their trip. And I will say that for being a true story, it was a decent movie, but I will say that not knowing about the event, I don't watch a lot of news. I think the news is kind of depressing, to be quite honest and frank up front. So I try to steer clear of the news, just because it's just, there's never any, they don't talk about anything good. They're not, you know. So for me, it's just one of those things where I'd rather just avoid it and lose myself in the movies, right? But I did see this movie, and it was an event that happened recently, a couple years ago, so I didn't know much about it. And when we got to the actual event itself in the 3rd act of the movie, I felt a little underwhelmed because the build-up was so good with the way the story was intercut, that when we finally had the actual full-fledged event, I was a little underwhelmed, and it felt a little anticlimactic. It was over in a heartbeat. Like like I said, the event itself, the actual terrorist attack, was so quick, because like, it's a true story, so it's not really spoilers. But the guy comes out of the terrorist comes out of the bathroom of the train. He happens to fight off one guy who sees him come out of the bathroom with a gun. He gets shot. He wrestles the rifle away from him, and then he goes to pick up the rifle, and as he's picking up the rifle, our lead, Spencer Stone, goes for the gun, and the gun backfires, and then a small tussle ensues, and also, and then Alex Scarlatos, the other Army Ranger, comes in and starts to help, and then it's kind of over at that point. And then like I said, it was a little underwhelming for me. I don't say the movie's bad. I mean, right off the bat, I'm going to say it's an A- for me personally, just because I didn't really fully enjoy the movie. I mean, I did. It was a good movie, and of course, like I tend to like pretty much everything I see, at least a little bit. So an A- goes a long way in my eyes, personally. I mean, it was a little heavy-handed on the religion, which I have nothing against that. I just felt a little heavy-handed for me in the movie. I did, however, like the ending, where it was intercut with real footage of them receiving their medals of honor from the Prime Minister of France. I thought that was wonderful. There was very limited action at the end. It was like maybe 10 minutes at most. Again, it felt a little anticlimactic because we finally got there, and I was like, all right, here we go, this is it, and then it kind of was over. I have nothing against that. It's just not what I expected, and it's a very very good, heartwarming story of friendship and family. But for me, that was it. Like it was hard for me to stay invested because it just didn't do much for me. And maybe it's just not the type of movie for me. It's not. I don't think it's Clint Eastwood's best, and for that, maybe there could be some better. He could have a better one next year or whatever. If I didn't have Movie Pass, I may never see this movie. But I have a Movie Pass, and I want to see as much as I can, so I went and saw it. Do I recommend it? It's up to you. Make your own distinction on whether or not you want to watch a true story movie. It's not the best thing I've ever seen. It's and it was okay. It's just hard to really dive into the movie because I don't know. It just wasn't for me. Again, I gave it an A-. I wish I could give it more. It's just what it gets. If this is your type of movie, let me know. Let me know what you liked about it, what you didn't like about it. I would love to hear. But for me, it just wasn't what I needed it to be or what I thought I was going in to watch. I know it's a true story, so you're not trying to embellish it in any way, shape, or form, but sometimes when we make movies of this nature, they kind of embellish the story a bit for film. And maybe a little bit of that might have gone a long way. You can't take away from what these guys did. The guy literally ran down the barrel of a gun, and it just so happened that it backfired. And if that's not fate or luck or whatever you want to say, it's crazy. I won't take that away from them. I'm not saying that what they did was not heroic in any way. They truly was, and for that, the movie is great because they are heroes. Like there's no, but it's just not my cup of tea. The type of movie I got to see. So nothing against the movie itself. Nothing against the heroes in the movie. It's just not a movie that I personally enjoy. So with that, it gets an A-. Definitely, if this is your type of movie, see it. Let me know how you felt about it. I'd love to hear. Like, share, follow, comment. I want to hear feedback. Let me know what you thought. This has been Matt with A for Effort Movie Reviews. Come back to us next week when we'll see something a little bit more up my alley, something that I'm truly excited to watch, and that is Annihilation, a sci-fi thriller starring Natalie Portman. I'm a huge sci-fi fanatic, so that's something a little bit more up my alley. I might be a little bit more enthusiastic about it, and hopefully it's good. I'm hearing some good things so far, so let me know what you think of 1517 to Paris, and I've been Matt, your host. See you soon.